Hello family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and welcome back to Micro Midgard, a game from Prometheus Game Labs that will be on Kickstarter May 1st, 2024. You can check that out in the description section below. There is a link down there to bring you right on over to the page, regardless if you're here early before it started, or right when it's in the middle of the campaign, or even when it's after the campaign. No matter what, I'm going to be showing you guys in this particular session how to go up against Loki, the Trickster god. So in the last one, I did kind of a quote-unquote simulated two-player game where I just took the red Viking and the blue Viking and versed them against each other and just see how I did. This is the true solo mode version of the game where you're going to be flipping these cards over in order to see what Loki does on each turn. And his goal is the same as your goal, collecting 9 victory points or having the most victory points after all of the Ragnarok events happen. I did do the how to play for this, so if you want to go ahead and check that out to get a little bit more details on things, by all means go forth and do that. But otherwise, I'm going to be kind of walking through little bit by little bit how things happen here. Normally, what you do for this game is, these are my tokens, these like little green ones here. I even did the same thing in the last game where I had my own little tokens here, just kind of keeping better track. You would just use the other player marker for Loki in this situation. So you would be whatever color and Loki would be represented by the other one. I'm just going more thematic, giving him my little green one here as I bounce him around from the different meeples that will be on the board. But we have to figure out which ones are going on the board. And for that, I already did the setup over here. We have, what do we got? We got Freya, we got Hel, we got Wayland, and we got Brock and Sindri right here. So each one of their realms are represented up here in the Ragnarok board. This is the order that they'll be destroyed in. And then whenever a Ragnarok event happens, these are the order that will be resolving the prophecies. So the first one is, if the Sun Wolf goes above the horizon and causes the Ragnarok, then whoever has the most artifacts will get it. For the Moon Wolf, whoever is highest on the yellow and red track, which is the moon track, and then the moon side of the crafting track right here. But the biggest difference is Loki's board right there in the middle. So Loki is really influenced by his two sides over here. As he does things on his turn, his focus will determine where these little markers go. And as soon as it hits a new spot, he will do whatever it says. So for example, as he moves up the yellow side here, which is the moon side, he'll gain 2 mead. He'll move himself up the track for the red crafting board. He'll move the moon wolf, and then he'll gain a victory point and start all over. For the sun green side, gaining 2 gold, moving up the blue craft one, moving the Sun Wolf, and then, of course, gaining a victory point and bouncing back up. The center section right here will actually determine his main focus. Normally, it's whatever is written on the card, and I'll show you those cards as we go through the game. But if I ever score Ragnarok, he will move to whatever side it is that I scored on, and no matter what the card says, that's going to be his focus. So if the card said a moon, and he's up here, he would always focus on sun regardless. If he happens to get all the way up here to the top, every time he takes an action, he's going to take 2 of them. So he gets really hard the more you score against him for the Ragnarok, the Ragnarok scoring. But if he starts scoring, then he'll start moving back down towards the center. It's a really interesting mechanic in terms of how Loki moves up and down the board. You can almost manipulate him where he can go in a sense, but you got to be careful because the more actions he gets per turn, which he can get a lot, the faster it is that he gets his victory points. So anyway, I've gone ahead and set up all of the crafts over here. Let's go ahead and take our gods and place them on their tracks. Get back here, Brock and Sindri. Speaking of which, they start here. Hel is in Helheim, of course. Wayland is Alfheim, and Freya is in Vanaheim, which is awesome. Remember, we had Odin and all. We had actually everybody in the last game. I just kind of flipped them over and went with the opposite sides of everything, just so you can see kind of like what their special abilities are, what their special things are, and whatnot. And then also, because we were playing the Ragnarok edition of the game, I was able to take these wedges and actually flip them over. So like in the one game, we would only have the Sun Wolf available here. In this one, it's the Sun Wolf and the gold, which I think this and this are the same, but then I swapped most of the other ones around as well. So this did not always give 2 gold. I think this was like a crafting option and then a gold. So now it just gives 2 gold. So that should be a very interesting way in order to refigure out like strategies and things along that ways as we go along. I have decided to start with a mead. Whenever you go up against Loki in solo mode, you will always be the second player, thus giving yourself the option of one of any one of the resources of your choice. With that said, I think we should get this started. So the way that Loki takes his turn is that you flip over the top of his deck right here, and then this pretty much dictates exactly what it is that he's going to be doing on his turn. Basically, he's going to be focusing on these particular meeples in this order, so red, then green, then yellow, then blue. If he was anywhere else other than the middle of the track, he would be focusing on that. Otherwise, he's going to be focusing on the moon section. So the way that Loki moves the figures around the board is that he focuses on the zenith points of both the sun and the moon sections, depending on what his focus is. So in this case, he has the moon focus. He'd be focusing right here. Now, in the final version of this game, there will be markers to indicate the zenith, which are the highest points for both of the horizon lines. So this would be the sun point. This would be the moon point. Then he would take his marker and he would claim whatever meeple it was that was top to bottom. So, for example, if I was already on Brock and Sindri, he would then move over to Freya. If it was his turn again, I was on Brock and Sindri, he was already on Freya, he would have then moved over to Hel. So that's how he kind of determines which one of the meeples it is that he takes. But in this situation, he's going to grab Brock and Sindri. Now, normally what it would be is he would move towards the zenith. He's already there. If he was already in the zenith, he would just shift over to another side, which he's not going to do that. Otherwise that, he would then move to Midgard, or he would move away from the zenith, which I believe in this situation, he would move to Midgard because he doesn't want to move away from it. So he's just going to shift right into here, which is good because this is a good example of like what Loki will do if he ever goes to Midgard, because this is 3 different choices that he has here. Now remember, his focus is the moon. So when he's looking at that, he's actually looking at the prophecy that would be fulfilled through the moon wolf, which in this case is whoever highest on the yellow and red track combined. So I would say in this situation, Loki would actually take a moon action. He's focusing on the moon because that's what the card says. And then these are what the things that he would do. So he would probably take a moon action, moving his marker, he's just going to be the blue marker for this situation, up 1 on the track, thus making him in the lead in order to fulfill this prophecy. After he's done the actions, he then does a focus action based off of whether he's focusing on the sun or the moon. Because he's focusing on the moon, his marker moves up 1 and he actually gains 2 mead. Just like the player, Loki can only carry 7 of each one at a time, but unlike the player, Loki will never actually spend these. So the more of the resources he takes, the less it is that the player is going to have. So he has to be very careful, well, I have to be very careful, I should say, about what it is that I collect, because at one point, he's probably going to have 7 of each one, and then I am not going to be in a good position. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and take my turn now. So I'm going to grab my guy. I'm going to go over here to Freya, and I'm going to move her to Niflheim, gaining myself a craft action. And one of the best strategies I have for going up against Loki is try to grab relics as fast as you can, because once he starts taking craft actions, he just automatically grabs whatever it is that's in his space. What I am going to take is I'm going to take this one right here for a craft action. I can swap any amount of gold for mead or mead for gold. Of course, staying within my, my limit of 7, but this is going to help me because I think I want to try to focus mostly on mead for this in order to get like maybe these crafts or do these types of abilities over here. But if I have the ability to swap out my materials, that'll be even better. Okay, so that is mine right here. I'll just move it down here, try to just move myself away a little bit from Loki, because he's going to fill this up pretty quickly. So his next card is, all right, so again, he's going to be focusing on red. He's on that. This is actually a good example. Red, he's on that. Green, I'm on that. So he's going to go yellow, and he's going to try to focus towards the sun. So he would want to move her as close to the sun as possible. So moving towards it, he would go on to Hel right here, and then go up 1 to Jotunheim. Whoops, get back here, Loki. And now Loki would go ahead and fulfill both of these abilities here. He would gain 1 mead from there. So now he has 3. The Moon Wolf would move, and then he would move up on the moon track. And moving up this quickly on tracks is really bad for me because Loki on the moon and sun track, once he gets to the top, he's never going to go back down. Like for me, if I ever use the ability, I jump back down to the bottom. Once Loki gets up top, if he can't go any higher, this marker starts moving up faster, thus making him have a faster rotation on whatever side it is. But he did his wolf, he did his collection, and yada, yada, yada. So then this will move up 1. Oh, no, I'm sorry, he's sun. I'm sorry, he's sun. He took the moon action, but he's focusing on sun, which actually means this moves down, and he gains 2 gold. That's always the focus point. Always got to remember what it says on the card for what Loki does, which again, really won't matter in the long run because he's just going to do what he does anyway. I'm actually going to get rid of this because I can kind of keep track of myself as I'm not playing two people. It's just, I can figure out when Loki's gone, he's finished, so now it is my turn. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and grab Brock and Sindri, and I'm actually going to move them down to Helheim over here. I will move the wolf again. Actually, do I want to do that? That might not be, you know what? No, yeah, I'll do that. I'll move the wolf again. I'll gain myself a mead. And then for my moon action, I will move myself up one as well. So now I'm getting a little higher on the track, even though I'm pretty sure Loki's going to win it anyway, but I'm kind of more preparing for future turns as opposed to winning this one, which if the Sun Wolf goes, great, then I win it. But, you know, Loki will change that pretty quickly. Speaking of which, let's see what he does next. All right, so yellow, red, blue. So we got right up here, Wayland. He's going to grab Wayland, and then he's going to move towards the moon zenith. So Wayland will actually move down, and he's focusing on the moon, and he's taking a craft action. So this is what I was talking about. He's on the moon side of the craft board, and if Loki is next to a relic and he has a craft action, he automatically takes the relic. He'll never use these relics. He has no abilities in order to be able to actually trigger their functions, but they will count towards various prophecy fulfillment and things along that ways. If there was no relic here, he would just move up the track. And speaking of moving up the track, he does have a moon focus, so that will pop up and automatically move him up one anyway. So now he's next to another relic that he can easily take if he has a crafting action. I'm just going to stack these here because it doesn't really matter which one he has. I am now going to... There are not that many crafting actions on the board, I'm noticing. Only really 3. I'm going to do what I can in order to try to gain some relics on my side first. So I'm going to go ahead, like I said, moving, what do we got? We got Hell, right? Hell going up here to Midgard. I would rather get this one over this one because this one I just need 3 mead in order to gain a victory point, whereas this one I need 4 of anything. I guess either one wouldn't really matter. You know what? Let's do that. Let's move up here because I want to try to get ahead of Loki on this track because he's already 1 up here. If I can grab this first, then awesome. So that's going to be my goal, to hopefully grab this. As you would guess, the unpredictability of Loki is really what makes this solo mode tough. And quite frankly, there's only 1 difficulty level right now for this. But by the time the Kickstarter goes live, I was told that there's going to be various difficulty levels for Loki that they're testing out right now. So I can only imagine how much more difficult this guy is going to be in the future. Anyway, blue, yellow, green. So he's going to go right over here towards the sun, moving up this way. So the Sun Wolf is going to move up 1. He's going to gain another gold. I don't know why I put them up there, but they go back down here. And then a sun action for Loki, which I'm kind of glad I did what I did anyway. So his sun action will move him up 1 here, and then this will move down, making that move up as well. This is just movement on the track. So he would always move up that way. If he was next to a relic and he's landed here, he would continue moving up. This isn't giving him a craft action. This is moving him up this particular track. The crafting tracks are also the only ones in which Loki's marker will go back down on whenever he takes a craft, which kind of is a great thing because it prevents him from getting up too high. But that's why he has those movements on his focus board, because he can just keep moving up even if there's no crafts to grab. Okay, let's see here. I still need more crafting items and things along that ways. I don't, you know what, yeah, we're going to go here, and I'm going to move this down this way, moving the wolf 1 more and giving me 3 mead and then a moon action, which all my moon and sun actions are always going to be get up as high as I can in order to be able to trigger this and then gain my victory point and then all my extra stuff. All right, these opening turns are always about setup and building whatever it is that you have in order to, make for great engines a little bit later. Green, he's on. Blue, I'm on. So he's going to go to red, which is Brock and Sindri, and then he focuses on the moon. So if he's already at the zenith point and the one right next to it is open, he will jump it. So he's going to be over here now, which is great. He does gain 2 mead, which, as you can see, he's starting to really build up this supply. He'll probably definitely win the second, prophecy if the Moon Wolf goes, because it reads whoever has the most mead will end up winning that, which is nuts. Anyway, so we did that. He gets a He doesn't get any other actions, but he will focus on the moon. So he's going to go here. Oh, no. See? And there it is. There it is. He immediately moves the moon wolf. And so by moving the moon wolf, boom, he forces Ragnarok to happen because he's finished all of his turns. And now we go to the scoring board, which he wins at because it's how much yellow and red you have combined. We're tied on yellow, but he is up 1 on red for me. So Loki has won this particular prophecy. So both of these are gone. Loki does gain 1 victory point. And then this realm is destroyed, which I believe is Vanaheim. Yup, Vanaheim is destroyed. So there goes a Sunwolf spot. You go back down here. The wolves reset. And that is the end of Loki's turn. Once again, I'm all about right now the crafting actions. So I'm going to grab Hel right here and move her down to Niflheim, which just has a single crafting action. I'm going to move up this one just so at least my next turn I can make a crafting action and grab this. As much as I want to be able to get this one because it's cheaper, it's only 3 mead, this is 4 of anything. So even if I happen to go into a space which grabs gold, I can still use it for this craft. Or this artifact, I should say. And Loki's 1 down, so he's not going to be jumping up anytime soon. At least in theory. In theory, he's not jumping up anytime soon. All right. Anyway, green. So he's going to focus on green. So we're right up here. Freya, he's going to focus on the sun. So he's moving up this way. He does gain a gold. The Sunwolf now moves up 1, and Loki takes a sun action, thus moving him up further here. Bloop. And then because he is sun focused, based on what was on the card, the sun focus track goes up 1, and he actually moves the Sunwolf a second time. This is the power of the gods, people. They're able to move these wolves at will, or at least Loki is. And zoopa, there we go. So that'll be the end of Loki's turn. So now the Sunwolf is even closer. Sunwolf needs just to move 1 more to cause another Ragnarok event, by the way, because he skips over the spots that are destroyed. All right, let's go to Mythelium right here for my crafting action. And as I said, I am definitely going to be taking this one. This goes right back down to the bottom. This pretty much says that I can spend 4 of any type of resource in order to gain 1 victory point, which is good. I think this is a pretty good thing that I have so far. I'll be able to hold more resources if I can swap out any extra mead for gold in case I start getting overloaded. And then I can just start spending them 4 at a time every turn in order to gain victory points. Loki's turn. He's actually almost at the end of his deck. We're going to go on down here to Hel. And the good thing about places getting destroyed is that Loki will move into them if it satisfies his need. So he is looking for the sun. She would move closer to the sun zenith, which is 1 up that way. And that's all he's going to do. He's just going to gain 1 more gold. But the problem is it does mean that he has now hit his bottom point of his sun track, which means he gains immediately another victory point. And this bounces him back up to the top. All right, my turn. I'm going to grab Brock and Sindri. We're going to go over here to Helheim. I'm going to grab myself my 4th mead, which is awesome. And then I get to move the Moonwolf. I'll move that 1. And then I get to go ahead and do a moon action, which is definitely me moving this up here. So now this is going to give me 4 mead at the end of whenever I do another, moon action. So I might be able to get some pretty quick points here if I play this right. We'll have to see how it goes. Loki's now doing the last card in his deck, and then we'll have to reshuffle this afterwards. So we're going to head back on over here to Wayland. He's going to be moving to the moon, so we're going to go here. Loki is going to gain his 6th mead, so now he is almost at max. Moonwolf moves again, and the moon action happens for Loki, which I'm just going to put him on the bottom because he's never going to move from this spot again. So he's moved up here. Moon focus, so that is right here, gaining another victory point and bouncing back to the bottom. You got to be quick with him. As you can see, he gains them really fast in easy ways, but you know, once you start getting a some time into the game and some good resources, I should be able to catch up. At least I hope I will. I'm going to go ahead and grab Hel and move her to Midgard, and I'm actually going to take a crafting action to activate this particular craft of mine. So I am going to exchange all 4 of these for 4 gold. I know it doesn't really matter at this point, but I have a way of getting a lot of mead really fast by a moon action, and I kind of want to have some extra resources left over so I can start triggering this one more times, like rather than just once and having to wait several turns. Trigger it once, maybe trigger it again, and then another time. It is Loki's turn, so I got to shuffle these. All right, these are all shuffled, and now he goes again. Here we go. So he's focusing on Brock and Sindri, which is right here. He is taking a moon focus, so he's going to be jumping over here. And now here's where it gets interesting. He gets 2 mead. Unfortunately, he cannot take both mead. He can only take 1, which is fine. Whenever you can't take certain resources, you automatically move up this track 1 for every resource you can't take, which is terrible because he's going to go here. He can't take 2 more mead, so he's going to go up 2 more times. He's going to go here, which is going to move, this one is going to move up. And then he's going to move here, which moves the Moonwolf. And then when he focuses, he's going to go here, which is going to give him his point. Wow, that was awful. Oh boy. Okay, well, we'll just go put that right here then. That's the power of Loki and the insanity that he has. He is not one to be messed with, that's for sure. I, however, need to start doing something, and unfortunately at this point I'm going to have to trigger a Ragnarok event, even though I don't want to. Yeah, I need to gain some ground back. So we're going to go here. We're going to move Waylon down here. I will gain at least 1 mead back here. I gain a moon action, and then the Moonwolf is going to move. So yes, it passed the horizon. I'm going to be triggering the event. However, I at least can do this, which is fine. I can move this down here to finally gain at least 1 victory point to gain myself 4 mead and a crafting action, which I'm not even going to take that 4 mead. I'm just going to leave it as is, using my 1 craft to pay 4 of any material to gain a victory point to put me up to 2. So I'm catching up to you, getting you, Loki. But with that said, as you can see, we do again have a Ragnarok event. So the Moonwolf triggered it, and I believe, yep, it's whoever has the most mead, which Loki has his maximum of 7, so I wouldn't even be able to catch him anyway. So Loki, once again, gains 1. We then, come on, get in there, thank you. These come off the board, and then, wow, you go. Looks like the area that I just walked into has been exploded. So it's 1 less Moonwolf spot that's going to trigger, but Loki has been triggering these spots all over the place, so I'm not really too worried about that. Let's reset our wolves. And now they both only need 3 in order to trigger an event. All right, Loki's turn. Here we go. Green. So we got Freya. He's going to focus on Sun. So he will move over and he will gain 2, which I think, yes. Okay, good. That puts him exactly at 7. So I didn't have to worry about him not taking anything extra. I mean, this is pretty much his maximum at this point for both of them. Any other resources he takes is just going to go towards his, his tracks. Which is pretty much what's going to happen right here. That's wonderful. All right, so this goes here. He can't activate either, so he's going to go 1 for 1 resource he couldn't take, and 2 for the second resource, and then the Sunwolf moves 1, but that is, of course, the end of his turn. So we'll go ahead and do this, and I'm going to go ahead and grab Hel, move her to Niflheim, because I don't want Loki taking any craft actions, but regardless of anything, my craft action is going to be spending all of this gold to gain myself another victory point. Something better than nothing, as they say, moving myself up the track, even though I'm pretty sure Loki's going to bypass me so fast. Speaking of which, we have his turn. What do we got? So he's on green already. He's going to go here. Whoops. Go here. Brock and Sindri are already on this. So instead of moving away from it, he always moves to Midgard as his second thing. So he's going to move up this way. He's focusing on Moon. So here's where it gets weird in terms of like, what would the AI do? He's focusing on the Moon track right now, which the prophecy is highest in green and yellow. He's already highest in yellow already. I would think that he would take a Sun action from Midgard in order to move him up here. So this way, any other Sun and Moon actions he gets would move one of these tokens up 1 regardless. And then he's also at maximum points for this prophecy. So that is what I think Loki would do. If anybody out there has any other guesses about what you think he would do, would love to hear it after you guys check out the rules and everything, how it works. But that's what I think he would do. And then he would move here. He already has a maximum amount of mead, so he goes to red, which this moves up 1. And then he moves here, so the wolf moves 1. Let's go ahead and move that there, and that's going to be the end of Loki's turn. I'm not feeling super confident about this, but let's take Freya and move her. Oh, man, I don't really have any good crafting actions to do, and my token's too far down. I'd rather just go here and work myself up this way to gain another resource to move the Sun Wolf, and then just move myself up 1. As much as I could spend a mead to gain 2 gold, I could actually use another sun action to gain 3 of these, like 2 gold and a mead, which I would have enough then to gain another victory point. And honestly, in this situation, if the Sun Wolf actually runs, I would win because I have the most hammers out of all the relics than Loki does. So that's not a bad idea. All right, Loki, let's see what you're going to do. Can you do something to move the Sun Wolf? It doesn't look like it. We're going to go here. So she can't move towards the zenith. She can't move into Midgard, so she has to move away. So she has to move up here, which means Loki would collect that gold and he wouldn't be able to. It is on the moon side, so this would go up, thus giving Loki another victory point, bouncing all the way back down. And now he would do his focus, so he would do this. He can't gain the 2 resources here, so he would go up 1. That can't go up 1, so it would actually move on to the wolf. So that's the movement for the wolf up here. And then he would still need to collect another mead, which he can't. So that would actually go back up here, giving him yet another victory point, bouncing down here. Wow, Loki is massively powerful. Oh, geez. I wish I had a way to move the Sun Wolf. I wish I did, because then at least I'd gain some points and gain some lost ground. But I think the only thing I can do is go to Brock and Sindri and move them over to a crafting action. Or do I want to do something else? No, I'm actually going to take Waylon, and I'm going to move him to as a crafting action. I don't want to give Loki a crafting action, or at least try not to give him one, at least, because then he could claim the, the relic that he's next to on the red track and beat me completely if the Sun Wolf happens to go next for a Ragnarok event. I don't even have enough to do either one of these, which is pretty much destroy a sun artifact that I have, plus pay 2 gold to gain a victory point, or destroy a moon artifact I have, paying 2 mead to gain a victory point. I don't even have enough for either one of those. Oh boy. All right, I'm just going to use the crafting action to go up on this one, because then I can use moon actions in order to turn them into mead, which is not a bad thing either. Though I'm sure at this rate, Loki's going to be gaining these next 2 points fairly quickly. All right, so he's going to focus on Brock and Sindri. Here we go. Yep. He's going to go here, and he does gain a sun, a moon, or a crafting action. And it's always to whatever satisfies the best for the prophecy. So at this point, he would take a crafting action to take this craft. This would go all the way back down to the bottom at least. But now he takes this craft, and he is currently winning at that prophecy because he has now, this would make 5 hammers to my 4. And then the sun would trigger. Or sun focus, I should say, would trigger. So that goes there. 1 victory point and bouncing back up there. I tried. What can I say? I tried. Really, out of all of this, the only good thing that I can do is either move Freya here to gain 2. Well, that's really it. There's no other valid movements. I have 1 valid movement here to do this to gain 2 gold. And that is, I mean, I have enough now to gain a victory point if I have a crafting action, but that's really going to be all that I can do for my turn. Loki is going to go again, and I bet you this is probably going to be the end of it. So he's going to focus here. He can't go towards it. He can't go to Midgard, so he's going to go this way and gain 2 mead. Yeah, that's going to be the end of it because 1 mead's going to go here. He can't collect those other 2, so he has 3 movements on this board, which 1 would go here to go up, 1 would go here to move the wolf, and 1 would go here to give him his 9th victory point. Wow! You see this? He just obliterated me. This is the worst I've ever had against him. Oh my goodness. Get over here, you crazy trickster, you. Oh, geez. Yeah, he did it. He was the one that fulfilled, he was the one that fulfilled all the crazy prophecies and ended up gaining victory once again. I tell you, he's tough. He's tough just as the base goes. Like, there's so many different ways for him to earn victory points that you need to collect the relics as fast as you can in order to be able to get them. Now, the items that I chose here probably didn't help me much either, but then again, they didn't help him equally as much. So as you can see, there's this weird balance to it as all. I know he's possible to be beaten. I have yet to beat him, but I did one time, what was I at? 7 to his 9. I was very, very close. But again, because he moves so fast up of his influence tracks and gets those victory points, he's just flying up and down these things so quickly, grabbing these victory points and then bouncing back up to the top. And again, if he has his maximum amount of resources, moving on to this spot basically just means he moves forward 2 all the time, moving this up, moving the wolf, and all kinds of crazy things. So there's definitely an amount of strategy that you have to work on every time you play against Loki to make sure that you beat this trickster once and for all. But I'm telling you right now, he's the challenge in this game for sure. Thank you guys again for checking out this session of Micro Midgard, the solo mode against Loki. Let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below. And again, if you're interested at all in this, by all means, check out the Kickstarter page, regardless if it's going on right now, if it's still in early preview, even if it's ended. This is still a cool little game to check out. If you're a big fan of smaller versions of the games, you know, the actual micro version of it is going to be available. Prometheus Game Labs does a lot of these different micro version games. I want to get that ninja, that micro dojo or whatever they have, that one with the ninjas. That one looked really cool. But this is the latest one within their library. If you like these style of small games, this is a great thing to add. So definitely check it out, see what's there. Or if you don't want anything so small like this, you know, go for the Ragnarok edition where you have bigger boards. These are very, very well done, amazing quality boards. And again, this is just like the first printing of this. Once the game is officially out, they may do some changes or whatever here like this to make it even better. I can't wait to see what the final products would be. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Thank you again. In order not to miss any future gaming action of all different shapes and sizes, and of course any other fun videos I put out for you to enjoy, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad. To help the channel even further, there are plenty of ways to do that in the description, but honestly, your view, your like, your share, your comments go a long way to helping out this channel grow. And then of course, checking out the Kickstarters for the games that I do feature on this as well. Even if it's something that you're not interested in, just looking at it and maybe thinking of somebody that would be interested in it would be extremely helpful anyway. Regardless of it all, take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together. Thank you all again, and I will see you in the next one. And I will get you next time, Loki. I will.